It's 4 o'clock on a Monday, and you know what that means. It's time for another exciting episode of Taxi TV Live. This week, starring special guest star Miss Suzan Koc. Yeah, baby. And welcome to the big show. I love having Suzan here.
I love being here.
She amazes me. She really just blows my mind. But I want to start the show on kind of definitely a downer, and I hate to start the show out sadly, but this has to be mentioned. About 2 hours ago, I found out, where are my notes, that Hector Contreras, one of our regulars in the chat room here and a regular on the forum, passed away over the weekend. I just happened to log on to the forum about 2 o'clock today and saw this news. I mean, I'm just blown away and saddened, as are all the people on the forum who are chiming in, and we will miss Hector a lot. His fiancée Catherine is always at his side on the show and on the forum, and she told everybody on the forum that he found out a week ago that he had gallbladder cancer, I believe, and that he passed away a week later. No pain, no suffering, so thank God for that. Anyway, Hector, this show is for you. Catherine, our hearts go out to you. I can't imagine the sorrow that you feel and his family must feel, so just know that we have a big community and we are all wrapping our arms around you. So Hector, fare thee well, and as Catherine said on the forum post, he's playing his grand piano up in heaven right now, so I hope that's the case. Anyway, on a happier note, welcome to the show. I'm really excited to have you here. I often say that Suzan has X-ray vision for songs. She literally can like see through concrete walls and get right to the heart of the matter. We were speaking the other day, and she was talking about being outside of the box, and so she brought 2 or 3 songs that are from major label artists that she would like to play to give examples of things being outside of the box now, and how the rules have changed, but in a good way. Is that a...
Yes, I've got songs. I brought some songs that are outside the box. I also brought some songs that, kind of 2 important songs that changed a lot pop music.
Okay.
And we don't have to listen to them all. I'm sure there's songs that everybody has heard.
Okay.
And and because at the taxi rally,
Yeah.
somebody asked about, well, everybody says right outside the box, and when I write outside the box, I'm told I'm outside the box.
Right, too far outside.
So
right, what is the box?
And it got me thinking of like how to articulate it better than say, because we all know what we mean but when we say outside the box. The point is not to take the song outside of the box. It's to write the song from the edge of the box, so you have a clearer view, you have a perspective, and you can mix things and you can bring genres together, but you need to stay in the box. But because when you're in the box, you only see what you're there. When you're a little on top of the box, you can do same way Dr. Luke mixed dubstep into pop with the song Hold Against Me. That was thinking outside the box. It wasn't going outside of the box. It was going on top and say, oh my God, there's dubstep here and there's pop. Let's put them together.
So it's pushing the envelope and not creating a new envelope.
It's the new envelopes are being created for pop in particular. You need to take what's there. I'm not saying you can't create genres, but thinking outside of the box is not going somewhere where there's no audience.
Great point.
It's really merging audiences and make it evolve and look at what's underground is tomorrow's mainstream, because that's where kids are. And as professional songwriters, pop writers, you really need to be aware of the edges and to be aware of where the next thing is. And there's like miss and hits. I mean, there are things you can do. It didn't go that way, went that way, but you need to be aware of what you can mix together and where you can take it.
It's like cooking. I always say that working in the studio and mixing, very much like cooking, where you wouldn't mix beef bouillon cubes with I'm trying to think of something that would taste horrible with, but you know what I mean, flavors that don't work well. You want complementary flavors, and you might find by experimenting, and you will fail. Sometimes you need to fail upward to mix two flavors together and go, that's new and different and really good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, it's the same thing with music and thinking outside the box. You need to be aware of what's underground.
Do you love to cook, by the way?
I love to cook.
It figures. That doesn't surprise me one little bit. I also love to cook, and I would imagine that, first of all, being French, you get like a head start on everybody, and being as creative as you are, that you would be an amazing cook. So I'll be inviting myself over for dinner someday.
You don't need to invite yourself. I took note.
Okay, so we're going to listen to Susan's examples, and yes, we are going to play your music. I told producer Sarah, to grab the first dozen songs that came in from you guys today. So we're going to get a very random sample, just because of the order they arrived in. There's playing no favorites or picking things out. Unfortunately, there may be stuff that's a little bit out of Susan's ballpark, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm excited to hear what she's going to talk to us about and play for us, and then excited to hear what she's going to say about your stuff. And I'm going to open the chat window now. All right, there you guys are. Hello, everybody. Okay, so let me get you plugged in. We're going to plug into Susan's iPhone, and that way we can play it through the speakers.
Lovely.
And okay, tell us what we're going to hear
so
first.
We want to hear two songs that were very big hits, one in 2006, one in 2008.
Okay.
That's, I would say, really made a big impact on the pop world. But when I say pop, it's not just like Kiss FM pop.
Right.
It's also singer-songwriter and all that.
Okay.
It's basically the two songs that took the song form to a different level. It
Just
used to
changed
be
it up.
verse, lift pre-chorus, chorus, verse, sometimes two verses. And they're two songs that really brought this songwriting to hook after hook after hook after hook.
Which has definitely stayed around.
That has stayed around, and it became the new standard for song form. It's like 4 lines, hook, lift, hook, dip, hook. If you don't have 3 or 4 hooks, and actually your bridge became the drop. It became the one-liner, the resting place.
Right.
It's not there to actually bring a new melodic thing, because the melody shifts every 3 lines. And it's just, the songs became so much more complex and dynamic.
Still intuitively easy to follow. Like, you know,
absolutely. There are so many hooks.
That, you know, in the past, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, and out, that we knew we could feel. Even somebody who didn't understand music or song form could feel that, like, the bridge was coming, or that the pre-chorus was going to lead to a chorus. So you say that even though these forms have been changed and modified, that they still make the listener feel like something. They kind of sense what's coming next.
Absolutely. And not only do they sense what's coming next, but they make the other song too recurring and almost boring.
Interesting.
Because, I mean, every 3 lines, the melody shifts now.
Wow.
If you get the 4th line, that's the same as it gets boring. Every 3 line it shifts. Even if it's not just the melody, the singing, the way you place your vocal, your phrasing, something shifts. So it's constantly dynamic in little ways. And it just lifts and lifts and lifts and dips, and it's... let me play you the songs, and I'm going to just play bits. The first one, 2006, it's going to sound a little dated, but I'm sure you'll all understand, because when this song came out, we're all like, this is the weirdest form. Who knew?
Every moment gone, you know I miss you. I'm the question, and you're of course
the song is kind of, it says verse 1, chorus, bridge, verse 2, chorus, bridge. It has 3 melodic parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2006. It's still a little...
I think that was 8 years ago already. Yeah.
It still has the recurrent theme. The next song, that was like the most obvious, and I think that kind of set the tone for pop, is Britney Spears' Womanizer.
Okay.
So, here we go. Let's put the volume back up. It has nothing but hooks. So anyway, basically the form became hook after hook after hook. Sometimes, I mean, your verse 1, it really needs to be 4 lines that brings you to a first hook.
And it was hooky on a rhythmic level, on a melodic level, and lyrically.
Absolutely.
On every level.
And that became the new standard. If you look at even singer-songwriter, if you look at what One Republic does, if you listen to, that became the pre-chorus is not a lift anymore. It's a hook with a lift that brings you to a greater hook with a dip and a post-chorus hook.
Puts a lot of responsibility on the writer.
Yeah, but there's a reason there are 20 writers on a song.
Right. I always wonder when I watch like the BMI Awards or the ASCAP Awards or the Grammys, and there's like 12 guys.
They'll go and they'll say hook's not strong enough, and to keep on dispatching the song until they get it right. It's there's a lot to say about the way it's done, but that's the end result is hook after hook after hook.
Because they're getting all these objective opinions.
Exactly.
You know, and collaboration brings more to the pie.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So that's the. So I wanted to play those songs just to show that the form as we know it has changed.
Not in every case, but in some or many.
It has changed.
Okay.
In every case.
Are there
Here's the thing. The hook concept is a hip-hop concept. That you have the rap and the hook was the melodic parts.
Okay.
The phrasing is syncopated and staccato. It's like we're in the hip-hop era. Rock music is still there. It's not going anywhere, but it's not making the rules anymore.
It's also not getting a lot of radio airplay, sadly, either.
Yeah, but then on the other hand, the biggest song of the year is Radioactive.
Yeah.
It's a rock song with new formula.
Right. Combining those
That's
elements.
The thing.
Right.
Is that the rock it's not dying. Music doesn't die, but it's not making the rules. We're making rock music with hip hop rules, and it's the hook and the other hook and the next hook to keep everything dynamic, and even the lyrics became more conversational, and it's more the DNA of lyrics is more real. It's more confessional. It takes you to more inside. It's basically the songs are written inside out as opposed to outside in.
I find that a lot of lyrics today sound like Facebook posts or tweets, some of the lyrics I hear are that conversational, that they're
Yes.
almost abbreviated thoughts.
Absolutely.
But it lends itself well to the syncopation that you speak of.
Absolutely.
Interesting. How is it affecting country, if at all? I don't know if you follow country.
Oh my God! Yes, country. I mean, that's actually what made me realize that we are in hip hop world.
Because it started to migrate to country?
It's not that it started. There's a song called by Cole Sweeney called "Chilling It."
Don't know it, but okay.
Top 10, 40 weeks.
Wow.
It would be great if we could find it, but basically, it is. I need to find the song.
Okay.
It is the that's made it undeniable that we are in hip hop era. Here we go. Chilling it. I hope I'm not gonna get commercials. If we 5 seconds. I'll put the volume up. Skip ad.
Somebody says, Song Doctor says, well, just like, we'll listen.
Look at the syncopation of the words.
Little sunlight to burn in the blue sky, shining off the cross hanging from the mirror of my ride. The breeze blowing in, your hair blowing round. You scanning through the stations looking for that country sound. The good stuff iced up in the back seat. Nowhere to go, nowhere to be. I got my shades on,
Chorus
top
starts
back,
now.
rolling with the music jack. One on the wheel, one around you, baby. Sunset, I bet there's a chance we could get shore enough, tangled up, laid back and lazy. Pour it on easy now, don't spill a bit. Nothing but time tonight. Let's get to killing it. Long as I'm rocking with you, girl, you know I'm cool with just chilling it.
It's also in the vernacular of a younger audience.
Absolutely. And it's even grammatically incorrect.
Right.
Chilling it.
Yeah. No, that was too correct. Chilling it. You mean chilling it.
Chilling it. Exactly. So it's here. It's here to stay.
Right.
You've got, I mean, the Rapper's Delight came out. It was 35 years ago. So you've got adults under the age of 35 that do not know the world without hip hop.
Right.
And
a lot of them, yeah.
Since 1990, it's been the dominating genre of music in North America.
People keep predicting the demise of hip hop. About a year ago, there was a big sense that EDM was going to be the next big thing, and it was. It certainly rose to new heights, and I think Skrillex is largely responsible for that because Skrillex's EDM was more melodic and more accessible.
Here's the thing: EDM has been around since 1988.
I think it's been around since even before that. I researched it for a show one time. It goes way back to.
I mean, you can get the Kraftwerk and all that, but EDM is electronic dance music.
Yeah.
Music not made electronically.
Right.
Dance music made by DJs for clubs. Because before
Right.
that, disco, it was like pop's music with a beat.
Yeah, it all goes back to London back in, I think, in the, I won't say mid to late 70s, but it was always underground, and it really came to the fore 2 or 3 years
But the
ago.
computer music, no. It's in America it did. But everywhere else in the world,
It was already
has
there.
been
Yeah.
the. What happened is that in the 90s, America embraced electronic music through tracks on rap. It was with vocals, and Europe went instrumental with electronic music because of the language barrier,
Right.
whatever. So basically, those two electronic music, it was music made with computers and sonics and software and all that. They developed together and eventually merged in urban and hip hop. It's not a stretch. It's not a moving away from what hip hop was. It's a merging of two schools.
Oh, you're back to that
From
again.
the same,
Yeah.
from the exact same place of birth, except that America went lyric and Europe went instrumental, and now they're back together.
So if you had to predict what we might hear a year or two from now? Are you willing to make any sort of prediction? It's a
I can
toughie.
say that lyrics are getting deeper. The let's party woohoo is over.
Okay.
Not that it's over. I think it's like we ate a lot of that soup. We need another soup.
It's still popular in film and TV because there are a lot of let's party scenes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, but I'm talking about general. I mean, you've got songs when you look at Passenger, like Let Her Go and Say Something being top 10 in the charts. People have a different need for lyrics. So that's where it's going. And musically, I mean, it's very dynamic. And the computer as an instrument is not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah, now you can do it on your iPhone.
you can do it on you can do it anywhere, and it's an infinite source. The thing with the guitar is it has one sound. You can buy 100 guitars, they'll have 100 slightly different sonics, but they are still it's the same instrument. With the computer you can create, you can use already existing software, but you can actually create your sounds.
I know a lot of guitar players out there getting very depressed hearing this.
No, because the point is to integrate the guitar into those it's not one or the other.
We were talking about this the other day where a lot of DJs are now taking guitar vocal songs, literally nothing more than a guitar vocal, and cutting them up and using a computer and making really interesting stuff.
Absolutely. It's as I say, it's not one or the other. It's inclusive. It's not exclusive.
That's a great point.
So the computer is the new instrument that you can texture with. Even if you have real drums, you need a loop to make it sound fresher.
I want to quote something that Susan said. Our newsletter's coming out tomorrow, and I was editing the panel that she was on at the Road Rally, which, by the way, got raves about her classes at the Road Rally. And she does teach Songwriters Rendezvous, which we'll talk about at the end of the episode, which you guys really need to know about. But during the panel, you dropped many pearls of wisdom. And one of the things that you said was... I thought this was brilliant. I asked the panel the age-old question about how well produced a demo needs to be these days. Now, again, this is a generalization. Doesn't apply to everything. Does not apply to everything. So just understand that. But I asked the panel how well produced a demo needs to be today, and part of Susan's answer was the art form has evolved. The art form is 3D. The textures are part of the writing. It's like judging a sculpture on a 2D graphic. Well, I told her this. She's like, what? I said that? But yeah, that's how she thinks. And I thought that was quite brilliant. You know, if you're going to try and get a friend excited about a sculpture, you'd much rather show them the actual sculpture in 3D than here's a black and white print in 2D of the sculpture. They tell a completely different story. So I thought that was really quite brilliant. All right, so let's listen to some Taxi member music. I'm sure they're chomping at the bit. And I'm going to turn down the volume. Let's unplug from your phone. I will plug in Mr. CD player. Thank you. And as always, we are going to be very nice and constructive. You guys, we're not going to mention who the writers are. We're gonna play the stuff, and we're gonna do fairly short comments today, because one of the complaints I get a lot is you get too elaborative on the show. Play more music. So we're gonna try and get through as many of these 12 that we can. And the first thing we're gonna hear is called "Colorful World." And go back. Too far back. All right, here comes "Colorful World."
Yellow sunshine warms the bluest, bluest sky. I see it all as I go strolling by. No clouds in sight, neither gray nor white. I'm in a yellow, yellow state of wonderful earth. What a colorful world we live in. What a colorful world we live in. What a beautiful moment this is, and it's only just beginning. What a colorful world, and it's only just beginning. What a colorful world. Flowers blooming turn their faces to the sky. Birds sing their songs as they go flying by. The grass is green and everything is in a yellow, yellow state of mind. What a colorful world we live in. What a colorful world we live in. What a beautiful moment this is, and it's only just beginning. What a colorful world. What a colorful world. We color outside the lines, we let it be, and we take our time. We laugh, love, and breathe and live our lives in so much more than black and white. We color outside the lines, we let it be, and we take our time. We laugh, love, and breathe and live our lives in so much more than black and white. 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 What a colorful world we live in. What a colorful world we live in. What a beautiful moment this is, and it's only just beginning. What a colorful world we live in. What a colorful world we live in. What a beautiful moment this is.
All right.
It's a great production. The vocal just delivers. That's half the battle. It's like the emotion through the musical arc and the beats, and it's
So
driving.
you're saying the vocal delivers in a good way, or
In a good way,
Okay.
yes. Really like it. The melody is nice. My only issue is the lyric. You've got to be careful of not getting lost in your concept, and not getting lost in, like, you have a good concept, so you try to cram in every imagery that can go with it, and little by little it desensitizes. It still has to be about an emotion. So yellow sunshine warmed the bluest sky. I see it as I go strolling down by. Instead of I see it as I go strolling down by, if it was I fell in love for the first time today, it would put all the imagery in an emotional place. The images, the colors are not placed
I'm
emotionally.
only laughing because she's never written a song in her life. This is what I'm talking about, the X-ray vision side of Susan. It's a great observation.
It didn't connect the images to an emotion. So little by little, we're like, okay, and the colors are so beautiful, and the watercolor, and you've got to be careful. It's like colors, watercolor, colorful. You want to stray away, but also you want to put in a few emotional things so the listener is moved, and that your image and concept can subliminally move the person. The flowers are blooming, it's great, but once again, we didn't attach the concept to an emotion, so we don't know what's going on. in the chorus, it goes, "What a beautiful moment this is." I don't know what moment this is.
It drives our members nuts when screeners tell them stuff like that. But you know what? If you go to Nashville and you sit with a publisher, if the publisher is a very giving publisher, they would pop that one at you and say, "What are you talking about? You make this statement. What a beautiful moment this is." You didn't connect it to anything.
There's a moment. And I think that, funny enough, by rewriting that second line,
which is, I see it.
as I see, because that's a throwaway line. It's not adding anything to the song. Yellow sunshine warms the blue, bluest sky. I met you, I'm in love for the first time. I'm going to a very cliche place. But you put the heartbeat in. You determine the moment. You just fell in love. And life is colorful. You don't need to change the rest, because you have placed your imagery and concept emotionally. You have grounded it.
Right.
Once you've grounded it, you can throw in all the analogy. You also want to make sure not to throw so much images and colors that
Right.
it doesn't get corny. Because the next thing is like, oh, every imagery in the book is in the song. So you want to keep it real and emotional, but just by putting something emotional in that second line, the rest of the song is emotionally lifted.
Do you know who Tim Myers is? He was in One Republic.
Yes.
Okay, we had him at the Road Rally 2 years ago, and this is in the Tim Myers bag, or a bag that he frequently works in, and he is the master of doing exactly what you're talking about, which is making one connection that throughout the rest of the song he could be talking about flowers or the sunshine or whatever, and it makes the hair on your arm stand up because of that connection. So it's a great observation. Wow, good job. Thank you. All right, and thank you to the member who submitted that. Okay, moving on. This one is called Time and Again, and let's have a listen.
Time and again, I've come back to this place. I can't say when, but I know I've seen your face. Wouldn't it be nice if it happened once? It could happen twice. I'll pay any price to get you out of my dreams and into my life. Now and then, I think I hear your voice. Sometimes I can't, sometimes I can't. I wish I had the choice. Wouldn't it be nice if it happened once? It could happen twice. I'd gladly pay the price to get you out of my dreams and into my life. Wouldn't it be sweet if it happened before? I know it could repeat. I'll pay any price to get you out of my dreams and into my life. Not if, but when, that you'll come home with me. So here's my plan. I'm gonna make you see. It'll be so nice. Let me be quite concise. use every device to get you out of my dreams and into my life. Wouldn't it be nice if it happened once, it could happen twice? I'd pay any price to get you out of my dreams and into my life. Wanna be so sweet.
Sorry for the custom fade there. I've got to say, first time I've ever heard the word concise used in a song, so congratulations on pulling that up. All right, what are your thoughts?
I want to go back to what I was saying when we started. It's the form of the song and the lack of hooks. Wouldn't it be twice? If it happened once, it could happen twice. Is really the only hook there is.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on time and again. I've come back to this place. We don't know what place it is. I can't say when, but I know I've seen your face. So it's not really clear, and the whole chorus is based on if it happened once, it happened twice. It's a little weak. Not only it's weak, but it's not inside out. It's outside, and it stays outside. We are not invited inside what's happening, what this person is feeling.
Ralph Murphy, excuse me, my friend Ralph Murphy, who's been a hit songwriter, producer, publisher. You know Ralph, right? Ralph always says you've got to invite the listener in.
Exactly. And we're left outside. It's not, and it's the same concept over and over and over again. It doesn't evolve. You've got to look at a song as there's a start line. You are kneeling on the start line, and that's your verse one.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, it's the, I used to, I'm trying to think of a song lyric and I'm blanking out.
Welcome to my world. Approaching 60, I blank out a lot.
So basically, the song that starts, let's go to Katy Perry's song, I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath.
Mm-hmm.
That's her starting point. That's where the song's starting, and it's going forwards from there. There is no real starting point, except I've seen your face before. It would be nice if it happened again. And then we've got, I've heard your voice before. Basically, back to the starting point. Oh, okay, we got it's it's the same image with a different sense.
What's the Beatles song? I've just seen your face. I just. Oh gosh, I can't think of it. But that's another I've just seen your face example that immediately invites you in.
So, but it's not evolving, and then wouldn't it be sweet? I mean, it's we don't know what it is about this person that attracts. We don't know how this person feels. Wouldn't it be nice? It's like the word nice is so weak and unpassionate.
Mm-hmm.
It's all very polite. It doesn't feel it has urgency.
Let me play devil's advocate. My daughter Hannah, many of you know Hannah or know of Hannah, and so Susan said, let me take a listen to her latest two songs. So Hannah was at the office the other day and played Susan two of her songs in the conference room, and right before we started, Susan was talking about Hannah's songs, and Runner Runner, which is the latest thing, the most recent thing Hannah wrote, and you commented, I have no idea what the lyric means, but it's really hooky. That flies in the face of what you're saying here. You're telling this person, we want to know more. You're not inviting us in and letting us know the story behind it. Yet you thought that Hannah's thing was really
It was
hooky.
evocative.
How so? What was evocative about that?
Runner Runner.
Just like
It's
what?
Runner Runner. I don't know what it means, but it has movement, it has action, it
Okay.
has so much subtext. And it's not runner, it's runner runner.
Right.
There-
The word alone would be boring.
The amount of subtext with the end. She wrote a song that didn't work.
Okay.
I was like, you have to make the runner runner work. You need to define what that runner runner means. You need to invent a world, an emotional word where runner runner makes sense.
How'd she take that?
I think she got, I mean, she told me she got it. She was like, she's going to work on it.
She
And I
did
gave
tell me
her-
afterwards, she said, Susan was right about everything she said, which I
And
think you
gave
should
her-
become her parent.
it's-
'Cause I don't get that.
That's because you're the parent.
Right.
But it's like bands like the Killers.
Hmm.
I don't know what they're saying half of the time, but they make it work. They emotionally manage to pull me in and take me places where my head is out of the loop, but emotionally I'm engaged. These are very hard. I mean, you either have that knack or you don't. But when you do have it, when you can think of a title called Runner Runner saying, ooh, this has a lot of, there's something about it, I would push the person to go. And I'm actually sorry that I can't give her more tips of how to do it. But I'll know if she's done it or not. I'll know it when I hear it, but I
Right.
can't help her how to get there, except maybe give her like other songs to look at and other places to go. I thought it was a great title, and she needs to make it work.
So getting back to this, in the
Time
concept,
and again, heard it before. I've come back to this place, heard it before. I can't say when, but I know I've seen your face.
all standard fare, not breaking any new
There is
ground.
no
So that's what you're saying.
runner. There is no like interesting word or interesting associations that would make me go, ooh, I don't know what it means. I don't have story, but I have emotion.
It's instantly memorable, it's hooky, it's catchy, right.
And I don't need a story. I need emotionally connected things. I mean, Say Something, a song like Say Something, a song like Stay. We guess the story. The emotions are concretely put on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the story. We can sit down and discuss what it's about, but we know what the feeling is, and that's all that matters.
The feeling.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Just looking to see if there were any comments about that one. Song, flex, story, feelings, meaning. Okay. All right. Let's move on to number 3, which is called High Ground. And here we go.
I'm a handful kind of person, and quite sure that I've got it all figured out. But lately, my vision's gotten hazy. I couldn't tell you up from down. Then you came along, showed me how it's done. You'll take the high ground, and I'll take the low. We'll find each other in the middle of it all. You'll be my Luna, and I'll be your soul. We'll watch the world go merry-go-round. My half-hearted, silly smile shows I've got flaws for miles. Oh, the mistakes I've made, and a certain kind of crazy follows me here lately. But you accept me anyway, because you came along. We can have some fun. You'll take the high ground, and I'll take the low. We'll find each other in the middle of it all. You'll be my Luna, and I'll be your soul. We'll watch the world go merry-go-round. You'll take the high ground, and I'll take the low. We'll find each other in the middle of it all. You'll be my Luna, and I'll be your soul. We'll watch the world go merry-go-round. We'll watch the world go merry-go-round.
All right. What's your take?
I like it. It's a little melodically. I find it a little cliche. It's modern. There's something happy, but I would have liked the melody to be a little more ornate than it is.
Excuse me.
We got I'm a half full kind of person, quite, and then we go back to the melody. It would have been nice. The pre-chorus is extremely short. It's dated, and we needed more information about this person who changes her life. Then you came along, and then we're back onto her. So it would be nice that to
Connect the two.
to connect, and then the second verse is about how this person affected her, which is great. If the pre-chorus was one longer, be melodically and structurally, it needed to be the first hook of the song, and we needed to have some more information about the you,
Who the you is.
who the you is.
Right.
And then you came
comes up
along, show me how it's done. No, then you came along with your free spirit and your loving thing and your generosity, and you put my world upside down.
Right. We know nothing about this person.
Exactly. So the people have to. It's like watching a movie, and all of a sudden a character comes, they start a dialogue, and you're like, "But who's that person?" Like, why are they?
Great analogy.
So you don't know. So the characters need to be introduced.
That's a great analogy. I like it. Speaking of movies, if you guys, I normally don't like the Jackass movies. I've never made it through more than 5 minutes of either, or however many there have been of the Jackass movies. But somebody on the staff said you've got to see Bad Grandpa, which is done by the Jackass guy. Can't even remember his name. Deb and I laughed so hard in the first 10 minutes of the movie. I kept saying, "Stop it, turn it off. I can't take this anymore." Literally, my ribs hurt. I couldn't catch my breath. There's a scene in the beginning of the movie that will make you laugh so hard that you better have gone to the restroom before you watch the movie. It's that funny. Anyway, you got to like gross humor. It's gross. Okay. Trying to catch up with you guys on the forum, but or in the chat, it's just going by so quickly. All right, in the interest of moving on quickly, because I'm going to try. And somebody asked, that's why I wanted to answer. Somebody said, "How did they pick these?" I told producer Sarah, just take the first 12 that come through the your email box. This one is called Hallelujah, and it is
Hold on. Somebody's like, okay, Susan talks about details, but what kind of details is best? Emotional details. You need to set it emotionally, because you really have 50 words or less to get to the point.
Mm-hmm.
You need to. So that's why the choice of words is very important. So it would be great if you can use rich words that have a lot of subtext. So it can say things, it can be colorful, it can be emotional.
Some of the best songwriters I know are avid readers. They read tons of novels because they absorb that rich subtext that you're talking about. It's you would have to work very hard to learn how to do that, but if you just read and learn by osmosis, I think it comes to you to some extent.
Absolutely. You need to, and also like when you listen to other people's songs and you see a word, not necessarily an unusual word, but a word that carries more than just the one meaning.
Mm-hmm.
If it can carry several meanings, it's like gray has more sadness than black.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to Lord, who's like, I've never seen a diamond in the flesh.
Right.
The word flesh, I mean, there is seeing something in the flesh, but the word flesh is so tactile. It has there's a sensual subtext to that word.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that's what I mean. I mean, the detail has to be emotional, not visual. Not visual. It really has to be. And if it's visual, it has to have an emotional subtext to it.
I remember years ago, a Taxi member wrote a country song, and one of the lines in there was, "The sky is like a dirty shirt." And I thought that was so brilliant. You know what a shirt that didn't come out white enough looks like. But I went to Nashville, met with a publisher friend of mine, played it for him, and he said, "It's very descriptive, but it doesn't make me feel anything." And that's exactly what you just said in so many words.
So yeah, it needs to. I mean, it's funny because when in my workshops I have a few country writers, and the hardest thing with the country writers is to explain them that it's not about the story,
But
that it's
that's what
about
they're-
the emotion.
But country writers are always taught it's about the story.
Yes,
I mean,
because it's a given that it's about the emotion when you're on a professional level. But when you're starting, people get so lost into descriptive, into like telling the story. I was like, you've got to make sure your song is not a traffic cam. We need to know why they're doing what they're doing. If you still ask why, it's not defined. So you've got to make sure that it's not, and I get in my car and I drive and I go there and I go there, and then you've got a hooky like hook.
Right.
But it doesn't have the emotion of why they're doing it. It's traffic cam.
It's not observational, or not merely observational.
It still needs to, the story needs to bring people inside.
I will not argue with you. You are a deep thinker. No, you are. I don't think you realize how when I saw what you said on the panel in print, I went, wow, I was right about her. Okay, Hallelujah. Let's have a listen to Hallelujah.
I wanna let it go, I want to move on and feel the love of someone else in my arms. I wanna strike the pose and celebrate and tell the world that I'm done with all this hate. But it's hard to do this time when your heart outcries your eyes. And just for today, make it go away. Just for tonight, make it alright. Just for the moment, I'll close my eyes and sing hallelujah, sing hallelujah. I wanna be that light that shines so bright. I wanna be that love that you hold above. I wanna look into your eyes for the very first time and know you're the one. Know you're the one. But it's hard to do this time when your heart outcries your eyes. Just for today, make it go away. Just for tonight, make it alright. Just for the moment, I'll close my eyes and sing hallelujah, sing takes you to a place you've never been. Just for today, make it go away. Just for tonight, make it alright. Just for the moment, yeah. Just for today, make it go away. Just for tonight, make it alright. Just for the moment, I'll close my eyes and sing hallelujah, sing hallelujah, sing
Sorry, it kept getting louder and louder here. I finally had to turn around and turn it down for you guys. I could see I wasn't watching the meter. Anyway, what'd you think?
Beautiful voice. The voice, the singer is really getting the song through. The melody is sweet, although if the pre-chorus had was twice as long, it would have been more modern.
Okay.
And the lift at the end. Lyrically, we start with I want to let it go, I want to move on, and feel the love of someone else in my arms. I want to strike the pose, celebrate, tell the world that I'm done with all this hate. You finish your first verse with all this hate, and you haven't. It's not a good starting point because we're like, I want to let it go. I don't know what the it is. What are we letting go? So the starting line is not set.
There's no setup, right?
There's no setup. Because then we go to, it's hard to do this time. So all of a sudden you're like, what was the other times? So we don't know where it's coming from. So we don't know where it's going.
Now, the average listener in their car on their way to work or on their way home from work would never have these thoughts. But
of course they do.
Well, they may not verbalize them like you do.
I agree.
But they would feel the lack thereof.
That's the irony with lyrics. It's the subliminal part of the song.
Mm-hmm.
They basically, the first thing you hear is the production and melody. It's the first thing you hear. It's what pulls you into a song or not.
Okay.
But the lyric is what keeps you in the song or not. And it doesn't have to be intelligent. It has to be hooky. It can be sometimes, it just needs to move you. But when this lyric comes and it's coming out of the blue and you're not sure where it's going, you just don't stay in. Just for today, I want it to go away. And the words aren't even like powerful words. All the words are little. I'm done with all this hate. I like it, but it should have been the first line, and we should have determined where that hate was coming from, why you're related to the let go, and why it's suffocating you. And then it's hard to do when your heart outcries your eyes, but it's hard to do. But just for today, make it go away, just for tonight. And we don't know who the you is. We don't know who we're talking to. So it's they're good. I like the idea of the songs. Like, I'm so suffocating with hate. Somebody help me get rid of it, even if it's just for a day.
Right.
It's a powerful emotion, but it hasn't been set up.
I agree. And it's got so many positives going for it. I loved her voice. She's definitely kind of like in kind of a younger Faith Hill sound, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I like the engineering and production on it. I like the tempo of it. Had a lot of stuff going for it. And I hope that whoever sent this in is listening to it, is listening to Suzan, because I know it's tough for you guys. You finish something and you're married to it. This is why I had to practically beat my daughter over the head to meet with you, and then she was really glad she did, because don't make the mistake of not getting an objective opinion before you commit something in the studio. Make it right before you go record it. Don't record it and then go, oh shoot, I wish I had.
Yes.
Because you can't always fix it. Some people invest a lot of money in their demos, or they put it on a CD and go, holy crap, I can't go back now and fix this because I've got a finished CD. Wouldn't it be awesome to send your stuff in and get a custom critique? Hello. You know, this is the level of people that we've got doing these customs so that you don't make that grievous error. These critiques don't disqualify if as a hit song. I don't really understand. There are tons of hit songs that are worse. Maybe don't disqualify it as a hit song. There are always songs that are out there that are worse. But you know what? Just like Suzan was speaking my daughter's song, Runner, Runner, that line, that word repeated twice is so interesting, that's captivating. There are exceptions to every rule. And sometimes there's something so exceptional about just one line in a song combined with what the drums did that it becomes hooky enough that you discount all that other stuff. Yeah.
It's funny. I have mixed feelings about people who, if you hate a song, the worst is it to be indifferent to a song. If you hate a song that's a hit, it made you react, one way or the other. It tickled you. So it did its job. And if it's a hit, as a songwriter especially, and I did that as a publisher, I was once told by a mentor, don't judge a hit, understand it.
Great advice.
And I mean, there were things on the radio that were hits that I hated, and I was like, okay, I'm wrong. I am wrong because it has there's something magic about this song that it is so big. I am wrong, so I'm going to understand it. And actually having that thought process also made me go through the years and stay current and consistent with what's happening. As you know, I do not screen anything that doesn't have contemporary in front of it.
Right.
Because I can't. I'm spending a lot of time and effort and listening and like getting my ears to today, that if somebody has like 1992 grunge,
You wouldn't know.
I'm at loss because I lost a sense of aesthetic.
In over 3 years of doing the show, I'm not sure that I've ever asked anybody else where they thought it was going to be a year or two down the road, but I asked you today because I know that you spend that much time listening, and if there's anybody that might be able to predict, you could be the person.
I think that the ball's going where Lord kicked it. It's more of a lyrical shift than a musical. Because EDM and all that just arrived, so people are still discovering all the EDM is still made by Europeans. Americans haven't integrated yet.
Are we going to have a bunch of Lord clones?
Not Lord clones, is that lyrically it shifted. Lyrically it went to a more personal place. Because the thing with Lord is that musically, production-wise, it's
very simple.
not only it's simple, but it's very current.
Yeah, it's somebody said to me the other day, it's a younger, hipper, better Adele. And I thought, wow, how quickly, we went from, Adele's been around for 5 years now, maybe? In the public eye. But
The only comparison between the two is that they're both very connected to themselves and
Right.
very articulate with how they feel.
and female, and fairly stripped down. But, yeah, you're right. The Lord is...
It's very timely. Musically, it's
Yeah.
very timely.
and fairly deep.
And very deep. She made the shift in the lyrics. So I think now a lot of people who were shying away from like going deep and bearing their depression, now it's like we welcome depressed people again. At one point it was out.
Come on back, Alanis.
No, that was angry.
Oh, that's
I
true.
think we're done with angry.
All right, moving on to number 6, and it is
What's the
called...
name of the song?
What? It's Hard is the title.
Okay.
I've had my share of those ups and downs. Been down more than anything. I used to hope that it would turn around, but hope was the enemy. Whoa, 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 it's hard. It's hard. Too proud to cry or beg for help. Pride came before the fall. I just kept playing all those cards I was dealt. I played till I lost it all. It's hard.
not a pop song, which I know is more in your ballpark, but do you have?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. Actually, I thought I was hoping the title would lead to something more playful. It's
How
hard.
playful?
I mean, it's
Yeah, okay.
the thing. It's like I've had my share of those ups and downs. Been down more than anything. I used to hope it would turn around, but hope was the enemy. It's hard. It's not, but hope's not the enemy. There's information missing, so the listeners pulled into the turmoil. The turmoil isn't, because it doesn't feel like there's any effort of getting out of it. Too proud to cry, beg for help. Pride came before the fall. He's not sharing the struggle. He's just sharing what's against him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not sharing what he's trying to do. It's not, and I push each time I get up, the rug's been pulled under me. We're not into the duality. It feels like he's just been knocked down and he's sitting there. We're not seeing the battle through, so we can't feel what is hard, what is difficult. The other thing is the singing. We needed BVs there, needed to feel, I mean, musically it made me feel the struggle. There was no BVs.
Right. Background vocals.
Background vocals, and especially on the one-liner chorus. Whoa, it's hard. You need to layer. So there is so emotionally it hits you like a punch. That
Yeah, it was
it's
antithetical.
hard. Exactly.
Okay.
There's some good lines. I scream into the night. It's a good thing, but it's not really built up with. He's not sharing the struggle.
Okay. Moving on to number 7, White Hot Betty.
Betty
funny. Before the show, I stopped in the doorway of Sarah's office next door, and she said, "Are you sure this one's okay?" And she played me like 15 seconds with "Quit Your Bitchin', What You Trying to Prove." I wasn't looking at the lyric sheet, so sorry. This one bordered on, let's just say it's suggestive. And anyway, I'm going to leave it at that.
It's actually well written. It is what it is.
Okay.
It is what it is. It is stripper rock.
Right.
It is dirty, gritty, but very articulate. He is not leaving any. I'm like, at no point am I lost in his story. But the chorus, the last line of the chorus, I understand where he's going with it. It's weak because everything else is so there. It is into your face sex song.
Mm-hmm.
It's unapologetic, that I love. It's
It is
owning.
definitely
It is
yeah.
owning what it's saying, but the very last line is trying to be clever, but by not saying the word and guessing it with the rhyme luck, that cheapened the song.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the song I believed, and that last it lost me. If you could come with something that's a little more to your face and real and not go for the shock value. The rest
Right.
of the song has the shock value. And
Yes, it does.
if you can keep owning that I've got a nasty reputation, gonna love and leave, is a very powerful line. It's really owning up to being a horrible person. There's something powerful in it. There's something very exposed about it as a songwriter.
I'm sure that I'm naive, but White Hot Betty, is there another meaning to that phrase that I'm unaware of? Anyway, I've seen two people now say you don't need to play the whole song. Everybody wants to get through a lot. We're up to number 7. We've got 1,
got
2,
5
3, 4, 5 more to go. Do you guys give me plus ones if you just want us to play like a verse, chorus, and the bridge and go a little faster?
But the other thing I'm going to say about this song, get it produced.
Yeah.
Get it produced because it's all over the place. I
the
like the
pocket was
energy.
pocket.
The energy is there, but you really need that is worth fixing that last line and getting a good recording off it.
This could do really, really well in strip clubs. Strip clubs, I'm not saying that facetiously.
I agree, and it would also do good for like some gritty film and TV. I'm thinking.
Sons of Anarchy?
I was thinking actually the other one with the True Blood.
Yeah.
And just like there's gritty southern biker places, yeah, Sons of
Right.
Anarchy, that would be good because there's something that's real about it. That's honest. There's something honest about it, and
It does have honesty.
unapologetic.
That is
I like
for sure.
that.
All right.
Not
Ooh,
enough?
a lot
we
of
do
plus
a lot
ones.
of plus
Okay,
ones.
we will
As
play
opposed to
short.
Black Betty, exactly.
And Betty Boop. All right. Moving on to number 8, which is called, oddly enough, or comically enough, Cherry on Top.
Well, there's a theme here.
Yeah, really. Good follow up to White Hot Betty. Okay, here we go. Cherry on Top.
You've got a sweet tooth. You only want what's best for you. You're making your move. You're hungry for what I could do.
Definitely a theme.
Leaving your tongue tied. I'll take you to the side. Your body's designed to take it like a man tonight. You and your cherry wine, you got me feeling fine. It happens all the time. Love me or love me not, I don't want this to stop. I'll be a cherry
going to fade it so we didn't have to listen, or the bad choice word, so we didn't listen to the whole song and eat up time, but it was over. I got to say, now we know who Jesse's girl was. Jesse's girl was named Katy. Katy Perry.
Oh.
Doing Jesse's girl because of the guitar.
Oh, okay.
Similar. Anyway, that wasn't the best reference I've ever used. Okay, go for it.
This is a loveless sex song. And
we've never had that said on Taxi TV before.
It's the connection's not established. It's the vulnerability isn't there, and I've got no problem with. I mean, obviously, the song before was also a loveless sex song, but there was an urge. There was a want.
Right.
There was a need for it. There was a vulnerability in it, even in its rough form. It was coming from a vulnerable place. It was like, you want it, I've got it, and this is it, and I know I've got a bad reputation. There was something human about it. This is, I want to know the song about the girl who cries the day after, the morning after when he's gone, and she feels like she needs to get some self-respect back into her.
Yeah.
And it's not even written like a Kesha does. And Kesha is like, hey, I'm the party girl, whatever. She's exposed. She puts her vulnerability. Here, we know nothing about her. It's the, you've got a sweet tooth. Look, I'm going to seduce you. Ooh, me and you, cherry on top. And I'll be your cherry. There is no... She hasn't revealed anything about her here. She's not giving. She's not sharing with the listener. And
I'm afraid it might have gotten a little pornographic if she had.
It wouldn't have. If she had, it would have been the, I need to be loved. I need to feel something tonight. There are reasons for one night stands that if you can articulate it, it can be powerful and relatable. But this is just, it's a little devoid of emotion. And it's not even about her sexual needs. It's about provoking emotion in somebody else without ever revealing how she feels.
Deep stuff?
It's a little sterile. And good luck finding an artist who's going to sing that.
I'm keeping my mouth shut because just in case my wife and kids are watching, my wife is going, don't do it, Michael, don't do it. So this is for you, Deb. I'm keeping my mouth shut. All right, moving on to number 8, which is called Walk Away. Whoa, why am I up to number 10?
You've got a sweet tooth.
That's weird. I'm sorry. Number 9, Walk Away.
Everything you left behind and all the things we were missing, 'cause now they're gone. Now they're gone.
Okay.
It's a very pretty melody, like the way it grows and everything, but the lyrics don't. Gotta be careful when you write a song that's a you song. You need to be very articulate about how the you feels, because the you almost has to be you when you're talking. It's the universal you.
Right.
But think about everything you left behind and all the things that you are missing, because now they're gone, gone, gone. As a listener, I don't know what that is.
It doesn't reach out to the listeners.
Look at her in her eyes and say that you don't care, you're willing to walk away. We're like, okay. Could you say that it's okay? I was like, I'm asking me a bunch of questions. I don't know. I was like, and I disconnected there, I have to say. As a listener, after that, I was like, this song is obviously, the songwriter doesn't want to include me in the message. They don't want me to know what's going on.
I don't think the songwriter actually had that thought while writing. Do you? I think it was just, this is my perspective, and put it down.
But what's the point of a song? What's your job as a songwriter?
To connect emotionally with the listener.
It's actually to manipulate the listener to feel what you're feeling.
Right.
So you really need to use the words. Imagine your girls, when they want something from daddy, they choose their words, so they break your heart, so you give it to them.
No, they don't. They go through their mother.
They did when they were 8, okay? But it's coming from that same place. You wanna say things in such a way that the listener agrees with you, and don't go look at the relationship saying, "Oh, actually, you, the singer, are wrong. That person is." So you need to manipulate. You need to bring it emotionally. Choose the words and everything. And here on this song, the bridge went to "I Know a Place." I was like, where did he get into the song? It was a you, and "I know a place where things from the past are erased." I feel like the words just came out with the melody.
Yeah.
And that nobody sat down and said, okay, now let's make it work.
Right.
Let's keep the words that actually make sense. Let's keep the words that sing well, that mean well, and rework it. This song really needs a rewrite because melodically, it's so pretty. It is very pretty. It's worth actually giving this even to somebody else to rewrite the lyrics.
It's a common mistake that I've seen for 22 years at this company, that people come up with something, it feels profound at the moment, the words have a flow with the melody, and they're done. And they don't go to an objective third person that has craft behind them, because craft pulls you out of making these mistakes. And this doesn't have a lot of craft in the lyric. I like the cello part, very Beatlesque.
The music, the melody is very pretty, but and also be careful to the questions in the choruses. It's got to be. I'm not saying you can't do it, but when you do it, you've got to make sure that you're not letting it. They need to be rhetorical questions. Mm-hmm. You can't let the listener hang on to, "Ooh, I don't know." Could you say it's okay? I don't know.
All right, moving on to a song called "So What," number 10. Peter Sellers movie.
Take my hand.
Okay, what say you?
Uh, this is a hard one because it's a retro song, and if I were to go retro, I would make the production very modern. Retro, with current sonics and keep it. But melodically, it's the same line for 4 lines on the verse, so it's it needs to shift. It was a snoozer. It really didn't. Na 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 na. Even if you start singing it differently, keep the melody and go to a head voice or something.
Right.
Give some form. What you've got to realize is that the person listening to songs today are doing other things. Nobody's
Right.
listening. I mean, we are. This
very focused.
environment is artificial.
Mm-hmm.
We listen. We're texting. We're silent. So if something repeats 4 times, we zap it. We're like, it's not going anywhere. That's why every 3 lines it needs to change. It needs to move on because
It needs another layer, some
it
point
needs
of
another
interest.
layer because people are listening. They're doing other things. They're texting. They're
They're
reading,
texting, they're
emailing,
texting.
they're watching TV and listening to music at the same time.
And texting,
And
and looking
texting.
at their iPad. It's
So you
mind-blowing.
need to grab attention.
I've got a solution for this song. My solution would be do an instrumental mix, edit it down, make it shorter, and just keep the do-do-dos, and it would be really good for like a Volkswagen commercial or something. If you added
But the melody is reminiscent, and that's going to kill me that I'm not going to find the title before the show's over.
even in the context of a commercial with a
Na,
voiceover.
na, 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 na. There's something there. There's something retro there that is really nice.
Made me want
But-
to go buy a Farfisa mini compact organ. You know what I mean? It's definitely like in the very beginning, I said it reminds me of a Peter Sellers
Yes.
movie. Absolutely. Some girl with a short bob blonde haircut and a mini skirt and go-go boots jumps into a cool-looking car with Peter Sellers, and
You're
off they
thinking
go.
of the party.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Okay, moving on. This one is called Happy Place. And thank you for hanging in. We are over our time limit, but we're going to play them all today.
Where do I go when I feel low? When I get caught out in the rain? Sometimes it all seems to fall by the wayside. Can't you tell by the smile on my face you're my happy place? Here we go, still floating. You are my happy.
That was my faster than normal fade right there.
So I have a comment that's not song related.
Okay.
It's know yourself related.
Okay.
The vocal, obviously the person who wrote this can sing, but his voice has a lot of angst. You can't sing this song. It does not give the emotion that the song needs. Be aware of what you do. Be aware of the effect your vocal has. And I'm not saying don't write it. He wrote it. Get a singer to emote what your song is emoting. Because otherwise, we have a very, almost a Morrissey angst lyric,
It's
vocal, a very discomfort and anxiety vocal on a happy song called You're My Happy Place. Can't you tell by the smile on my face?
Yeah.
The simplicity of the lyric, and it's honest. It would be a good film and TV. I don't know that it would be a standalone pop song, but it has a nice little feel-good vibe. Make sure that the vocal emotes that. The vocal is front row.
And the tempo's a little too slow.
Absolutely.
I completely agree. The vocal sounds a little sad.
It's
and it's about happy place. It's like
exactly
just
so
incongruous.
and that I've seen a lot of times. Sometimes people have very sweet voices and write very depressed lyrics and it just doesn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not the right singer for it, barter with friends. Sing one of their demo, they'll sing one of yours. I'm not even saying go pay somebody. Barter.
Oh, a lot of our members do that. I play guitar, you sing vocals. They trade all the time.
Exactly, but this this voice is never going to make the song marketable.
This would have been a great. He's got a great voice for 70s and 80s TV theme songs. His vocal sounds like it could, and I'm sure that we all heard Happy Days in there somewhere, but he does have that textural thing going on where it would have worked. He could have been a session singer like crazy back then.
But it's not that the voice isn't good. The
Right.
voice is
I'm
just
not
not
saying-
emoting what the song is.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Last song. This one is called You Are Not Alone.
Something in my voice that I can't
Did the vocal remind you of the band Heart, or was it just me?
A little. The vocal was so rushed, I couldn't actually lack onto it, and I could
Yeah.
see everybody going, "I don't understand the lyrics." I have the lyric sheet, and I couldn't understand it either. It's rushing. You've got to realize that the voice has two jobs. One is a musical job, and then it's the subliminal, the emotive. So you kind of need to sometimes
Yeah.
sit down and emote. And
It was
It
10
was-
pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag.
and it doesn't have a hook. It's not. There's no real repetition, and it's the first one we're having today. It's preachy. It's telling the audience how to feel, which is never ever a good thing, because it's a turnoff. Preachy is a turnoff. Don't you hesitate. Don't be afraid to live on your own. If there's something to fear, then there's something to hold to that you hold dear. You're not alone. You don't know me. Share yourself. Teach me through you.
How did you learn all this stuff? I'm amazed by. Did you spend time with your writers having these conversations? Because most publishers don't. Their publishers are more prone to do it than A&R people are, but I don't think most publishers have the a quiver full of arrows that you seem to have.
I had to become articulate because I was working with songwriters who would get frustrated when I said, no, it doesn't work. And they would go, why?
not? Yeah.
Why doesn't it work? And sometimes you're like, well, and sometimes you know it doesn't work and you can't articulate it. And I, it goes, it's like, and then sometimes it take me months to realize and to articulate. Or sometimes I'll hear somebody else say something and it will trigger, and I was like, that's what it is.
Assuming that French was your first language,
It's,
it had to be doubly hard for you because English is your second language. That was another obstacle in order for you, because you had to learn the language of music and do it in English. And because I'm assuming, well, you started out in France.
I started out in France, but I've been doing it. I mean, you get to it. You get to it. It's and once again, it's not a language thing. It's not. It's really an emotional language. Lyrics are an emotional language, and that's the hard part of lyric writing, because we use lyrics in an everyday to give data. And also you need to emote through lyrics. It's two different sides of the brain, but the same tool. But yeah, you've got to be careful not to get preachy on songs.
I'm scanning the lyric, trying to see the preachy stuff.
You see, it says something in my thoughts. It's like, I know it's hard to fall when there's no one to catch you. Where do I go? Where do I turn? It's all there. And then it goes, don't you hesitate. Don't you be afraid to live on your own. And basically it's giving advice in a song.
Right.
It doesn't. It's like, I shouldn't hesitate. I know, but I'm afraid to live on my own. If there is something to fear, then there is then I know there's something I'm holding dear. I'm not alone, and I try to live without regret, and I will. And I know you will be on my side, and together we'll thrive. We'll make it vulnerable, as opposed to put the singer on a pedestal and talk down on me. It would be on the same level.
And then it goes the other direction. Why is your stare so cold? I cannot bear to see this end. Just stay and hold me tight so I can pretend that we're all right. So then all of a sudden...
Then we get to the contradiction place.
Right, and the vulnerability, and yeah. Yeah, it's all over the place.
So there was something cool about the phrase. It just needs to be a tad bit slower and the lyrics tightened. And also maybe simplified. I mean, look at Imagine Dragon. It's repetitions and repetitions. There's something cathartic about rock songs, and this song could use cathartic.
It doesn't. It feels too frenetic. Somebody I saw it go by in the crawl in the chat room. Somebody said that'd be good for film and TV. I would have to disagree with that because it's much too frenetic on a rhythm track level, vocally, way too many words. It's not so good for film and TV. All right, well, the newsletter's coming out tomorrow. I put you in the Taxi Transmitter newsletter. I gave a link to your site. Susan does a thing called Songwriters Rendezvous, and she also does a lot of stuff with people all over the world with Skype. And so there you go. Give them the website address and...
It's swrdv.webs.com.
Repeat that one more time.
SW Songwriters RDV, Rendezvous.
Right.
.webs.com.
Okay.
It's usually 3 hours. They're limited to 3 people on Skype.
Oh,
I have
didn't know
one-on-ones as well.
Okay.
It's I find that the sum of the class is greater than everybody individually.
Okay.
Because it's it's not really about form or anything. It's really try to help people find their own voice.
And do you have them play music from wherever they are? And...
We email music and then we
listen.
It's sometimes technology gets in the way.
I know
but
that
we try to listen, and then everybody has to critique. So it teaches you to be articulate with what I do, to be articulate with what you hear, what you feel, what you like. And sometimes it's okay to say I have no comments, but little by little it's nice, and some co-writes get together, and it's very lyric heavy, because I'm really trying to we try to get to the bottom of who you are. It's not really cookie cutter, this is how we write a song. It's really usually the question is always, why are you saying that? What makes you say that? Is there something deeper that you can say about the same thing? And we listen to, I sometimes bring in songs, especially if there's something new in the charts that I think is really worth looking at. I'm like, guys, you gotta look at this. It has nothing to do. It's brand new, or something outside the box. Look where they went. Hit or not hit, just bring interesting things.
I think on 2 occasions you've come down to my office or said to me on somewhere that you love screening here because it causes you to get better at what you do, because you're constantly having to give feedback. So I would imagine that for the people in the class, they discover things about their own songwriting by identifying with others. I think we do that to some degree on Taxi TV. When the group hears somebody making mistakes or not getting stuff right, they go, oh yeah, they're not getting that right. And then, maybe after the show's over and they're walking into the kitchen to grab a snack, they're thinking, I wonder if I do that. So I hope it has that effect. And you do Tuesday nights live at
Tuesday
your
nights
house.
at my house.
Right.
That's limited to 6.
Okay. And you do it for 8 weeks?
6 weeks.
6 weeks, okay.
And I thought of 8 weeks, but it's so hard to keep 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are actually working musicians. They have gigs, and there's always some shift. There are some cancellations, and I'm always happy to make up. It's not rigid at all.
How many hours does it last on Tuesday?
I remember once I had to kick people out at midnight.
Wow.
Because I was like, God, I'm fried. I'm fried.
But she lives way up in the hills in Laurel Canyon. Believe me, that isn't a drive that I would want to do late at night. You've got very narrow streets up there.
Yes. And, oh yeah, you've been.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it is but usually it lasts 3 hours. I don't have the clock.
Okay.
And sometimes some people bring songs that are like, there's nothing to say. We're not going to spend an hour on them. It's well done. It's well written. Keep on doing it.
Great. I bet they're happy. I am amazed. And Susan heard none of these songs before the show today. Not a note from any of these songs. To be able to delve into them and see the insight and look at a lyric sheet and be able to do what you do blows me away. And I think that
Took me 25 years.
well, you're damn good at it. I feel very grateful that you were able to be here today and to share this with our members. And you guys are very fortunate, in my opinion, to have her screening your stuff and getting feedback from her here at Taxi. And once again, I want to close out the show by saying, for those of you who didn't catch it in the beginning of the show, Hector Contreras, the gentleman that always types "Dear Michael" in the chat room, the show passed away over the weekend. So we wish his fiancee Catherine well and the whole family well, and I'm sorry that you guys are going through this tough time, but life, the circle of life, as they say. So we will miss you, Hector, and I will see you guys very soon for another exciting episode of Taxi TV. And thank you once again, Susan. Miss Suzan Koc, ladies and gentlemen, bye-bye. See you later.
You're very welcome.
Yes, all the compliments are coming in.